everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Go Home Dinosaurs. You might be noticing that Go Home Dinosaurs has a very mobile-esque interface to it, but where you go and don't leave yet. This is not merely a shitty mobile game ported over to the PC. This is going to be available on Steam, I think as of this week, actually. I'm a little bit fuzzy on the release, but I'm playing the beta version of this right now. And as you might be expecting, this is a tower defense game, but it's not a bad tower defense game. In fact, this year's been pretty good for tower defense games between this and Field Runners 2. And this is one, it's basically like, you could kind of consider it as Plants vs. Zombies meets Field Runners plus dinosaurs is maybe the easiest way to describe it. Anyway, we're going to start off just by playing this game. I have played about an hour of this so far, which has allowed me to get through these first 20 levels, some better than others, as you can see. And the basic premise for this game, told through these cutscenes that we can see, you know, here and here. I'm not actually going to play them, just in case it changes my resolution and messes up with fraps. But basically, you know, we're these gophers, we're having a barbecue, and then these dinosaurs show up and just in general start being dicks about it. But we're going to start in on, yeah, you know, why don't we start on a level that we've already done to kind of give you a feel for how this game works. Maybe we'll check out level 9 or something, just to go over the basic premise of the game. I mean, it's a tower defense game. It's a very kind of traditional tower defense game with kind of like resource collection a la Plants vs. Zombies in it. But at the same time, it's worth going through, I guess, just doing some general tutorialization. So first things first, we're just going to take a look at the level. This gaping maw here is where the dinosaurs are going to come out of. Eventually, they're going to try to take our steaks off of this barbecue here. It's a thin conceit, but, you know, tower defense games always have one. This dynamite will explode if the dinosaurs get close to it. If no dynamite explodes, you get 3 stars or 3 steaks. If 1 dynamite explodes, 2. If 2 dynamites explode, 2 dynamites? Is that the correct pluralization? I don't know. But then you get 1 star, and if they get to the end, I believe you lose. These bowling ball coconuts, by the way, are going to act kind of like the sunflowers in Plants vs. Zombies, so we're going to go around and collect those to give us resources to play these cards, which you can see. So right now, we don't have that many turrets. We have this, which is just like a shooting turret, slowing turret, laser turret, which will attack everything in a row, Tesla zapping turret, which is basically to It'll do damage and slow enemies in like an area of effect. And then this like DJ booth, which will do a lot of damage in an area of effect. It might actually slow as well. But anyway, in the meantime, I think what we want to do here, we also have this teleporting turret, which I have never been able to use effectively. We also have this, which will make our person attack a little bit faster, but that's not important for now. Let's just go over the very, very basics here. So given the layout of this level, I think I want to take a couple of slowing turrets. I see a good place for a Tesla turret, a good place for a laser turret, and then why don't we just round it out with a couple of shooting turrets to make it easier. So we take basically a hand of cards, and we use these cards with the coconuts that we get. The coconuts basically represent our currency. We use that to place the turrets that are in our hand. And we don't get any more of those, by the way. So, you know, the 6 cards we start with, those are the ones we're going to stick with for the entirety of the game. So our unit here, our character, if you will, is this gopher dude. And I'm not sure how long this level actually is. It might be super short. It might be too short to actually explain accurately entirely what happens here. But basically, he is both our resource collector and our main damage dealer. We might as well put this down, like, right here to allow us to do more damage to these guys. Okay, now, good, we do have more units coming. So this guy not only is probably our highest damage attacker, at least at this point in the game, but additionally, let's put this slowing turret down here. This is not the best timing. Oh god, one of them got to the end. Thank you, shooting turret, for actually managing to make that work for me. That was terrible. We're gonna defeat this level pretty easily, even though things just almost went terribly for me. But it's kind of cool how, what I was getting at there is that our gopher is both an attacker and our resource collector. I don't know if I've ever seen that in a tower defense game like this before. It makes it a little bit unique. It's certainly not the most, you know, novel idea for a video game I've ever experienced in my entire life. By the way, you also might have noticed we have almost like a Tetris mechanic where we have to place, like every turret has a kind of tetranomino. Well, not always tetranomino. It has a specific shape, like this L shape, or just like a 2-line or a 2-square line shape, or this kind of like, I don't even know. This is like the quintessential Tetris block to me. But you have to kind of arrange those in a grid in order to create a situation where you can do as much damage as is humanly or gopherly possible. But in any case, let's pop this bad boy down here. Actually, we already succeeded. So that should give you a pretty basic idea of how things work in Go Home Dinosaurs. And actually, I kind of like this game. I am very cynical about tower defense games in this day and age. Especially, it seemed like in 2012, every second game I played on Steam was a tower defense. But they're a little bit less prevalent now, and as long as they're as well done as this, I could really care less about the fact that they, or I guess I should say I couldn't care less because people are anal about that. I couldn't care less about the fact that it is derivative as long as it is fun. So let's go back and we're going to check out the level 2-1 here. I'm not sure if you can get like World 3, World 4, etc., etc. But World 1, you know, beating these 20 levels probably took me around an hour, so I'm expecting it wasn't that easy either. I mean, there's a couple levels I only beat, well, one level I only beat with one stake. I could probably do better at that now, but in any case, it's not as easy as it looks, shall we say. So we're gonna start this level, and really, I enjoy the fact that there's this planning phase as well. So we're getting introduced to a new dino, T-Rex. Medium speed and very strong, lashes out because he's sensitive about his tiny arms. I will say one of the major complaints I have about this game is that I think the voice work is like really annoying. Maybe not the voice acting, but the scripting is like really annoying, especially when you hear it over and over and over. In any case though, let's try some new turrets this time. I love the slowing turrets. I'm gonna go with a couple of DJ booths, which are really expensive but also really beneficial. Might be worthwhile to get one laser, and then yeah, I mean, it's not great, but this might work out well for us. Let's take one portal as well, and then we'll start. I might use this meteor at some point. That just charges up our gopher and makes him more powerful. But in any case, sure, we'll go to the dinosaurs now. Let's collect all these resources quickly. We are going to have 5 available right off the bat, which creates a few different possibilities that I could use. But I'm going to start with the laser because I feel like the laser is a good starting point. Allows you to do a lot of damage to enemies as they come through choke points, which is pretty important. And should be able, basically enough to kill all these guys without my involvement, which is important as well. So I'm going to also put like a slowing turret here, maybe, so they'll get slowed as they go through the laser. Sadly, the slowing turrets only hit 1 unit at a time, which is going to make them not as useful as perhaps I would like them to be. But after this, we're going to go with a DJ booth, I think, set up right here, and I'll explain how the DJ booth works, and why it's important to rotate your turrets to make sure they actually hit enemies. But so far, so good on this, I would say. We're probably going to get another wave any second now. You can also tell by the level progress bar in the bottom how much time is left. So now we have a DJ booth. We're going to rotate this. Oh, we don't have to, actually. DJ booths do a lot of damage. I can't remember if they slow or not, but they will do damage in, like, 2 directions. So, you know, like 180 degrees, basically. But I guess in this game, it's more accurate to say it's simply, like, 2 90-degree areas. So this should work out fairly well. I want to put this portal down at some point, but as of right now, this is going pretty well. The slowing turret is doing a damn good job. What we could do... Actually, I think I might have botched the portal placement for myself, which is pretty unfortunate. We might just throw down a second DJ booth instead. Like, we'll put one here, and we'll rotate this with the right mouse button to put it in position where it will actually do damage to enemies. But yeah, the portal, the problem with the portal one is that I didn't leave myself enough space. I'll explain that in a second. You can see what kind of space it needs, or what pattern it needs, based on the, the shape that you can see on the card itself. So let's just quickly go to our portal, and you'll see pretty quickly why I can't place this anywhere, because I put the DJ booth in its space, which is just basically awful planning on my part. But let's toss down this freezing turret here, which should at the very least make it pretty easy for me to kill this T-Rex. But the lack of space actually kind of makes for an interesting mechanic. We're just going to run our mouse over those coins. We can use those coins, by the way, to buy more turrets from shops as we move forward. So we might actually find ourselves getting into some trouble here. I really wish instead of going with the portal turret, I had gone with just a regular, like, pea shooter, but that's okay. Because I believe we are about to finish this level, and nothing could really get in my way. So, I mean, as positive as I've been about Go Home Dinosaurs right now, there are some points that deserve to be brought up. Just otherwise, it would be considered like a woefully not comprehensive review, and we just got a new turret. Sergeant Quick Shot, so this is going to cost a lot, but apparently shoot a lot as well. In any case, it's pretty simplistic. It's very derivative. It basically feels like engineered from the ground up to be like, okay, let's make like a dinosaur version of Plants vs. Zombies. Obviously, the fact that there's like the tower defense kind of maze style instead of just a grid that enemies walk down, that makes it different. But apart from that, it is very, very, you know, rife with Plants vs. Zombies kind of inspired design. That's a-okay with me. But at the same time, I know a lot of people are going to be like, why would I play this when I could play Plants vs. Zombies instead? And perhaps that is a completely valid, you know, reaction to be having here. So let's look at our maze. We've already got this rapid-fire gunner that we're going to use for sure. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to start with. So here's what I'm thinking. Portal will go here, because I want to explain how that actually works. We can put a DJ booth here, possibly another DJ booth here. So let's take 2 of those. and a portal. Oh, that's a laser. We don't want that. And a portal. And then we'll take 2 slowing turrets, and hopefully that'll be enough. Alright. So this, I'm gonna try to get that, like, quick gunner out as fast as possible. So we're just gonna wait for a second until, there we go, we have 7 available. And then I'm gonna toss this out, like, right up here. This is an awful place for it, maybe. But that was, I think, the best place for it, given the placement that I'd already planned out for other things. And I think I should still be safe until we manage to get a few more turrets up, in any case. So I'm gonna try to get this, I mean, the slowing turret is valuable, but I'm gonna try to get the portal up too, just to make sure we're safe. This will teleport some dinosaurs back to the beginning as they walk through, but it has a cooldown. So we're gonna see if we can survive this. I'm a little skeptical, but it seems to be working out fairly well so far. We're gonna try to get that DJ booth up next. This is what I would call a high-risk, possibly 0 reward strategy, as one of them has now basically made it. Yeah, okay, so I botched that fairly miserably. But as soon as we get that DJ booth up, things are gonna work okay. What I kind of like is that, you know how when I play, like, platformers that don't punish you for death, like Super Meat Boy, I say things like, you know, it's cool that death is merely an inconvenience, it's not like a total nuisance. Oh, that was the wrong placement on the DJ booth. We're gonna fail this miserably. I should restart this. I feel kind of the same about Go Home Dinosaurs. If you fail a mission, it's not like a lot of tower defense games where it can take you, you know, 7 or 8 minutes to finish a mission. Each one of these is probably like, you know, 3 to 4 minutes long, so failing is not that big of a concern. That portal seems like a good idea, but here's what I'm thinking. I definitely want the rapid fire turret, but I think I want to get rid of one of the DJ boosts and instead just focus on doing more damage via these 2 like pea shooters here. So we need to get some damage done to these guys at the start, I think. So now with only 1 DJ booth, we can kind of afford to be a little bit better, I think is a good way to put it. I'm just gonna toss this down here. I think it's good to get that kind of infrastructure out first. Believe you me, I want to get that fast gunner out as well, but oh god, this is maybe not the right way to do things either. Now I want to get a slow turret up, just to make it possible to do more damage to these guys while they're in this area of effect, if that makes sense. This is probably the best location for it right here, because they're going to be entirely within the area of effect as it goes down. We have 2 slowing turrets, so far so good on this. This is working a lot better. I think I'm going to toss this other one down right here, just to make sure that they're slowed to maximum potential as they go through here. Obviously on these like fast-moving but populous waves, it's not going to move all that well for us. It's not going to work all that well for us just to have these slowing turrets around. But on these like really slow enemies, I think it is going to be valuable. I am going to take a second and just pop down another pea shooter right here. This is probably not the most efficient location for it, but that is me playing tower defense in a nutshell. It's basically just derping my way around. This is not good either. Okay, then we'll put this down like here. I think they're gonna get to the end. Maybe not though. I can't overstate the value of these DJ booths. I use those, like lasers and DJ booths are my jam basically. Sounds like I just love going to the club, but basically that is how I play this game in its entirety. Please slow the enormous Stegosaurus that is gonna be able to get through to the end here before I can get that pea shooter out. We still have 2 more to go. Sadly, remember, the slowing turrets only slow 1 enemy at a time, which makes things a little bit more harrowing. Again, I have to say, the game's, to my impressions anyway, surprisingly difficult. Okay, I think this is the best location for this thing, unfortunately. Now, provided we don't let both of these guys get through to the end. Oh, there's only 1 left. Okay, so we should beat this mission regardless. Not the best, but at the very least we do unlock the treasure chest. By the way, one complaint I will say about the game is that, you know, where Plants vs. Zombies in the early game had like a real sense of progression, like every time you beat a mission you got a new turret basically when you first started. This is, it's a little bit more spaced out, which I find is, I was gonna say an objective negative, but I guess it is due to personal preference, but probably more than half of the missions so far have rewarded me with those, like, coins, which is cool. I mean, we can go to the store, as you can see here, and, you know, buy some power-ups, but I don't seem to be able to buy turrets, really. I can buy outfits, and I have no idea what Veggie Mode is, but we're almost there. Jamie Heineman trying to sell us some cards here. Yeah, like, these are all power-ups, not necessarily turrets. And I don't really use the power-ups in my strategy. That's probably a mistake. But I prefer, you know, the strategic element of tower defense as opposed to, like, the real-time powering up your active tower, which is our gopher in this case. In any case, let's take a look at the map here. So my cliff notes for that is basically just that I wish it was a little bit it had more variety in the towers, shall we say. Especially since, you know, all of the towers, at least so far, have basically just been, like, variations on standard tower defense themes. So, I'm looking at this grid right here, and I'm thinking, this is a great spot for a laser. So let's put one laser in here. This is an awesome spot for a DJ booth, and there's another one right here. Oh, we can't put one there, though. Okay, so this is an awesome spot for a DJ booth. I'm gonna roll one DJ booth here. And we still have 4 left to go. Okay. There's not really a good spot for a portal, so we could count that out. This is a pretty solid spot for, like, a slowing turret and then a pea shooter, I think. So let's put a slow and a pea shooter on here. Do we want to go with the rapid fire one is the real question. I don't even think I got to use that last time. Also, I mean, we can also do, like, slowing pea shooter, like, here, and then a Tesla turret here, which might be able to do a lot of damage, but now we're kind of a little heavy on the expensive turrets. Let me think about this. Let's just try 2 pea shooters and 2 slowing turrets. Is there a way I could make this work? I think absolutely that would be totally fine. Alright, let's give this a try. Again, what I like about this game is that you're not punished too heavily for failure. So, even if you totally mess up, it's not going to be that big of a deal. You'll just be able to do another run very quickly. So I'm just going to try to get some damage infrastructure up here as soon as possible. Slow these guys down a touch. And then I'm going to try to put the laser down secondly, I think. Because the freezing turrets do damage, just not very much of it. The laser turret is really useful to get down because of how... Excuse me, again, something got stuck in my throat there. Because of how much damage it can do in a very short period of time. Especially to enemies like this. Again, you can rotate those turrets as is necessary. But in our current state, we are probably A-okay. So this T-Rex is going to be a real problem, no question about that. I think... This might just be my expectations being wrong, but so far I've found that the slowing turrets are not as effective as I would normally expect them to be. Let's just put down a couple of pea shooters here if possible. I can't believe these guys are actually making it through the Tesla turret. And we're going to have a real problem real shortly. Those dino explosions, by the way, are just basically like enemies get propagated a little bit further into the field than they normally would, as you can probably see right there. Okay, so let's think about this logically. You definitely want to make sure that T-Rex gets killed. I think everything else is going to go down reasonably quickly. The Stegosauruses are the tankiest that we've encountered so far. So I'm going to probably save up my resources for now and put down a DJ booth like right here. There's another dino explosion that you can see coming, by the way. Yeah, so let's put down that DJ booth. We'll make sure to rotate it into the proper position. That is a good location for it indeed, and you definitely want to make sure that you're focusing at the same time on using your gopher to do active attacks to the enemies, because he does an awful lot of damage by himself. So, it's a tower defense game, but it falls like, it's not as active as something like, or I don't know how to explain this. It's not as strategic as something like, what is... gratuitous tower battles? I'm trying to think now. Tower Wars? What was the one from the guy who did, gratuitous space battles? It was gratuitous tank battles. Yeah, that was a game, a tower defense game that was very high on strategic elements. This is one that is a little bit more active. It's kind of like a hyped up version of Field Runners 2 with the kind of like, philosophy you have to have if you're going to succeed, which is basically focusing on both strategy and getting enemies killed at the same time. I think we are going to 3-star this one. I can't really see anything stopping us at this point. Good tower placement, good strategy. If your strategy's bad, you could probably still succeed, but if your strategy's good, it makes it certainly a lot easier, and I think that was the, maybe not the proper strategy to take. Oh, we did get +1 card here. That's the other upgrade you get. Sometimes you get new turret cards, sometimes you get increases in the size of your hand, which is basically how they allow you to hold an arsenal of towers, and sometimes you just get coins. In fact, oftentimes you just get coins, which I kind of dislike. Alright, let's do one more level over the course of this, and then we'll finish this off. So this is a problem. Obviously, I cannot put down any towers on this side of the map. So if enemies get past here, I'm pretty much boned. Let's think about how we want to do this. I think this is an awesome location for a DJ booth. This is an awesome location for a pea shooter. I'm not going to roll a laser here. So we can do pea shooter, slowing, DJ booth. That's going to be our first corner there. So pea shooter, slowing, DJ booth. We have 7 cards now, recall. This might be a decent location for a portal. Is there a better location, though? We could put a portal here. But that's going to take... I want to put another DJ booth here is the thing. So let's put a second DJ booth. I don't even know what it's actually called. So we're going to keep calling it DJ booth, I guess. Okay, so we've got this, this, and this spoken for. This spoken for. This might be a good location for, like, a Tesla coil. And then we have 2 left. Why don't we just go, straight up pea shooters on those? Because those are really easy to place. Alright, we're gonna give this a try. I have no idea how this is gonna work out. It kind of depends what enemies spawn first. Alright, with those enemies spawning first, I think we'll just throw down the pea shooter quickly to make sure we can do some damage. And we might get the slow up next, because these flying dudes can otherwise be kind of a pain in the dick. We'll see, though. In the meantime, though, let's just continue. The thing is, like, the resource gain is not the same on every single level. Like, on some levels, you gain resources really quickly. On some, you gain much more slowly, which can be either awesome or terrible, depending on which side of that coin you end up falling on. It's really nice when you get a lot of resources, not so nice when you don't. Oh, please. Oh, that is the worst fucking damage to take. It doesn't even blow up the rocks surrounding it, so my job doesn't really get any easier. Maybe we should have gone with, we saved up for something that did more damage in an area of effect here, because my problem right now is definitely crowd control. So I'm trying to save up for some higher damage dudes, but I'm not sure if that's going to be possible. Let's just toss this down here. Hopefully we'll be able to stop these guys from getting in. This might be a mission where it's actually, like, totally viable. Wow, this is really bad. Let's restart this one. This is terrible. This might be a mission where it's actually totally viable to just spam, like, pea shooters and slowing turrets. Let's get these, like, high damage ones off. Let's actually try, like, a 7 pea shooter run. Will this work out? I have absolutely no idea. But at the very least, turrets are going to be super easy to place. So let's just put 1 here. Pea shooters also have awesome range, by the way, as you can see. Like, when I place them, they can pretty much shoot the entire map. We're gonna have to be very vigilant about hitting these dudes, because otherwise one of them could probably sneak through. We're gonna try to put down a second one as soon as possible, which will be right effing now, I believe. Alright, so if they're just gonna send, like, continuous small enemies at me, then this shouldn't be a problem. Where it will be a problem is if they start sending larger and larger enemies at me, which are going to be very difficult to whittle down with this kind of setup that I've shoehorned myself into. Again, by the way, I've been talking over most of the voice work, but that is, like, by far the most annoying part of the game for me, is these, like, basically kind of, they feel like the quotes are a little pandering sometimes. There's, like, aliens quotes, like, game over, man, and I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't heard that recently. I guess it's not their fault that every hack-eyed reviewer, hack-eyed? Hackneyed? Maybe hackneyed, some body part, use that quote in the in their Aliens Colonial Marines coverage, but still. Let's put another one here. That doesn't seem like the greatest location. This seems like it's given a little bit better coverage. So far, so good. We're definitely doing a lot better. The only question is, will we be able to take out that DINO explosion that is coming for us? But at the very least, you can see how varied strategies are actually rewarded in this. You're actually incentivized not to continue using exactly the same strategy. If I had gone with, like, lasers and DJ booths, as is my temptation a lot of the time, probably wouldn't have done so well on this one. I mean, I don't really like the idea of popping it here, but this seems to be a fairly well-trafficked location. But these guys will probably die. I think they're getting a little closer. This might have been a good, it might have been good to take, like, a fireball or something to complement my existing items. We only have 1 more turret to throw down, but we're more than 75% of the way through the level, and so far we haven't really run into substantial problems, so I'm not too concerned about our success overall here. I'm just gonna put 1 more, like, here, or maybe here, and I think we're gonna get pretty good coverage. Okay, here comes the DINO explosion that will probably characterize the entire last half of this. I'm just gonna pop my dude down here. It's important, you know, when you place turrets to also leave yourself a place for your dude to stand, because he does so much damage. One of them's gonna get through. Still, though, these guys are all gonna get killed. Now, all we have to do is survive a little bit longer. And this is what I was worried about, actually, was the T-Rex coming out. We're gonna hope to do a lot of damage as he comes around this corner and all of our turrets get into range. That was actually much easier than I expected. Hopefully they don't send 2 at us now, which would make things more difficult. But I actually think this is a surprisingly easy setup to beat this mission with. I didn't expect it to be as simplistic as it ended up being. We probably have 1 or 2 more T-Rexes at most. I don't even think we need to get in this guy's way. Our turrets should just automatically be able to handle it. Maybe with a little bit of help from ourselves as well. And it looks like we got 1 more. This guy's moving a little quicker. I'm not sure he's got a spring in his step. But his health remains the same, so he will die fairly easily. yeah, one more hit. Oh, now we got one more T-Rex. And then we will have access to the treasure chest. Prove me wrong, game. Give me a new turret. Don't give me simply coins, which I find kind of annoying. But we'll see. Coins have been pretty prevalent so far. And will indeed continue to be. But in any case, let's pick up these coins, and then I will finish off this Let's Look At of Go Home Dinosaurs. Let's pop all these. I got as many as I could anyway. We ended up only getting 2 steaks there, but that's okay. Let's go back to our main menu here. So this has been Let's Look At Go Home Dinosaurs. It's certainly a very mobile inspired game, or, you know, mobile developed, if you will. Certainly the interface and like these Facebook and Twitter and gear buttons reek of like iOS or Android design. But in any case, it is a totally fun tower defense game in spite of this. You know, certainly derivative, very, very reminiscent of Plants vs. Zombies, and some elements seem, you know, I hesitate to say taken, but, or hesitate to say lifted, but certainly inspired by Plants vs. Zombies. But in spite of that, it's got good strategic elements, good real-time elements as well that force you to kind of stay on your toes, and overall, I'm pretty impressed with this so far. Assuming this comes out on Steam at a reasonable price, i.e. definitely $10 or under, I would certainly recommend this to fans of the tower defense genre. If it ends up being higher than that, then it's more of a personal preference. This is kind of, you know, when I see mobile games on Steam, I assume they're going to be in the $3 to $5 range, which is totally reasonable. After that, you know, I wish I had more details on the release, but I will put a link in the video description to either the pre-order page if that is live, or the developer's website if it's not. This has been Go Home Dinosaurs. Don't write it off. Don't judge a book by looking at its cover. This is certainly, on its cover, maybe a derivative mobile tower defense release, but in terms of gameplay, actually quite a lot of fun. In any case, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.